Deep in an underground secret Pacific Island lair, Pop Culture Minefield presents Saturday Morning Funtime. This is the Comic Relief Crusader telling you to get your morning cereal ready, because here we go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. Oh, we're live. Hey, morning, guys. It's another Saturday morning. Keith will not be here because he's at Archon in St. Louis. It's another big convention. We have another convention coming up this month in 2 weeks. We're going to be going to the very final game convention in Springfield, Missouri, which is sad because it's been a huge part of this town for a while. And Keith and I are going to be covering it. We're going to be at, I think, table 17 is our table number. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be sad because Scott and Chris are a couple that live in Springfield, Missouri. They run game, and he also runs two 1984 arcades. One in Springfield and the other one in Branson. Very successful. And it's a classic 80s arcade with 80s games, man. And they got an upstairs and downstairs, which is awesome. And we've broadcast from 1984, I think our second year of doing the show. And it's something that we want to try again in the coming years. But it's going to be sad because this will be the last time we get to do anything with game. You're going to go, John, I'm assuming.
I'm going to try and day trip down there.
It'd be good to see you. God, man, it's just hard to believe they're going to end this convention. You know, it's really been a part of this damn town for years.
Yeah. And
I get it. You know, it costs more than they make off of it. And they need to focus on their business, and I think they're kind of wanting to retire, both of them, you know, Chris and Scott. And I love both of them. They're such good people. And Lauren told me that she ran into Chris the other day and mentioned, what did you say about me to Chris? I forgot.
I saw Scott.
Oh, Scott, you ran into Scott.
Yeah, I told him that you were no longer with what you meant.
Oh, yeah. That I was single and living in the Springfield area again. So he was happy to hear that. I'm looking forward to seeing them. They're two of my favorite people. They're just such genuine people. There's nothing phony about them. And I got to tell you, sometimes in conventions, some of these people, they become almost hucksters and showmen and focused on making money and really don't seem to be connected after they become successful. This episode is brought to you by Mountain Dew Zero.
I've got some of that in the fridge.
I broke down. I needed a soda. I actually cheated last night. Scott came by and we went and had dinner. And I was hoping he would show up today, but he's probably busy. Let me go check, see real quick the messages. Nope. I don't think he's going to make it. Nobody's even read my message from the Morning Wrecking Crew over on Facebook. So, but that's okay. So got some exciting news. I guess I'll share this one. We've got a really couple of great episodes coming up. This one is one I'm very excited about because if you don't know who this guy is, you don't know science fiction, television, and film. Tracy Torme was a writer-producer on Star Trek Next Generation. He worked on Sliders. He was the producer of Fire in the Sky, I Am Legend. He also was senior executive producer on Carnival, the TV series. The failed series, I wished it had succeeded. It just didn't. It wasn't marketed correctly. Odyssey 5, good sci-fi show.
Yeah.
And he also, what was this one he worked on? Hold on a second. Oh, he also worked on Outer Limits, the 1990s Outer Limits. And I don't drink it much either, to be honest with you. It's just I had a little bit of dinner last night, and I wasn't happy because all they had was Diet Coke, and I'm not a fan of Diet Coke. I like Coke Zero, which tastes more like Coca-Cola, and it gave me a hankering for caffeine and for the carbonation, so I went and had one today, one small one. I don't like it in my body because it's not good. I have degenerative bone disease, and it's not good for your bones.
Yeah.
So
that 90s Hour Limit series was basically every other episode was, and we've accidentally destroyed the Earth because of some stupid thing you did, and terrible ending, you're dead. And then the other half were like, oh, that's nice.
I thought some of them were pretty good. I enjoyed them. For the most part, they were written well. That's all you got to do. I don't care if it's, thematically, I get what you're saying, but it really didn't faze me because they were just really written well. And Tracy Torme, there he is right there. He is going to be on our show November 16th, I think.
Oh, no, there
I got it. No, wait. No. He will be on this Wednesday, this coming Wednesday.
I thought
so I have to.
The 16th was the UFO expert.
Yeah, that's what is his name? Oh my God, Stan Gordon.
Yeah,
Stan Gordon will be November 16th, and this coming Wednesday we have this gentleman, Tracy Torme, and oddly, we will probably touch base on some of the stuff he's worked on. But in reality, what we're going to be focusing on is he just had, for the first time in his life, he's been fascinated with UFOs his whole life, like me. Okay. He had his first close encounter.
well, that should give you hope.
Flew right over. It does. I talked to him on the phone, and I'm like, oh my God, because we're not that far apart in age. He's 5 years older than me. I said, I have waited my whole life. I'm in my 50s now, and I want to see a UFO, and I've never gotten a chance to see one. And if it can happen to you, it can happen to me. And he lives near San Diego. It's near where they have a lot of those USO reports where he lives.
Yeah.
So, but this one was in the air, and it went over their house. And he said, at first he thought it was a figment of his imagination. He's like, this can't be real. And then he's been going out every night again to see if it'll happen again. Really, he's very excited about what happened. So he's going to be joining Keith, Don. And Don is officially, so you guys know, and if you're watching Don, I told Don last night, I'm making him special guest host on all the UFO episodes. Because he's just,
nice.
He carries the show, man. I love hanging out with him. I'm just hanging out with Don when I do that Wednesday show with him, talking about UFOs. But Stan Gordon is another big name that we're going to have. If you know anything about Kecksburg, you know who Stan Gordon is. But oddly, we're not going to talk much about. He and I talked about it. And it's like we're just going to kind of grace over what he did because Kecksburg, everybody's dead now that was involved with that. It's tragic, but we've lost them all. Everybody that was there. So the case is kind of closed at this point. Something happened. Military took it over. That's all we know. But he's going to talk about this crazy uptick in UFO encrypted activities in Pennsylvania. He says, my phone's going running off the hook with calls coming in. And the amazing thing is, even after the DOD and the Navy have said, yeah, this shit's real, it's happening. They're not saying every case or report's real. We are saying there's something out there, and it's out there for real. And the media is not picking these stories up in Pennsylvania. Imagine that. This is activity taking place in Pennsylvania, and there's still fucking, I swear to God, I'm trying not to cuss, but God damn it, man. The media won't pick these stories up.
Well,
It's
Gary,
ridiculous.
think about it. This is the question the media asked itself. How will this story benefit me? How does UFOs benefit them with anything they want to do?
It's going to get viewership, which is ridiculous. It will get viewers. It won't lose viewers. It will get viewers. So it's ridiculous that there's no reason for it, no excuse for it. It's just journalism has its head up its ass. It's been up its ass for 20 years. I could say longer, but the fact is it didn't really get bad until after 9/11 with the media.
Yeah.
That's when the media absolutely planted its head right up its ass. And I'm hoping that we're going to see a cleanup of that shit because Zaslav is sick of the news costing money and not making him money. And that's all I got to say about that. But I don't know about you guys. I've been watching Andor. And it's, again, like I keep hearing this said. It's it's Star Wars, but it's not a Star Wars we asked for. Well, look, man, I was around in 77. I was a teen in 77. We wanted Star Wars, but we didn't ask for it. That's a stupid thing to say.
We didn't know we wanted Star Wars.
We didn't know how much we wanted it. We did want it because the first time we saw that ad in December of 76, all of us were losing our minds. We saw the spaceship Millennium Falcon being fired on by that TIE fighter the very first time in December of 76. I was losing my mind. It was all I could think about. What is this? Is it going to be amazing? And of course, we went to see it. I went there with Jim Woodward was there, Bennett Sumner, Mike Vida, and our late friend David Gray was there. And Mike Vida brought a home cassette player recorder, one of those long ones that had a handle on it, and open the deck, put it in, pop it down, hit record. Actually, I think you had to hit record and play to record. You had to hit both buttons.
Yeah.
And he recorded the entire movie. But when we got home to listen to it, you could hear David Gray, God rest his soul, burping the alphabet throughout the movie because he's such a dickhead. Jim and I talked about him a little bit when he was on. David Gray was like, my God, that guy was a troubled dude, but he was funny as hell. And he was notorious for waiting until you were taking a drink. He did it to me several times before delivering a punchline to a really funny joke. And I spewed milk out of my nose numerous times. And I get mad at him when he would do it. I said, stop doing that. He was, well, stop taking milk when I'm telling jokes.
Yeah. As excited as you were, imagine me being 6.5 years old when that ad came out.
Yeah, in December.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, of course.
How'd you react to it? Did you lose your mind?
I was bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
And the funny part is I got to see the premiere in London because I was in London when it was released. And I went to I was on Piccadilly Circus, right off of it. There was a movie theater, big marquee, line going around the block, went to see it there, and then came back to the U.S., and it didn't open in Fredericksburg until I had gotten back from our first visit. And it was amazing. I got to get in line for that. And my only proud moment as a teenager was when Bennett, Jim, David Gray, and Mike Vida showed up thinking, haha, we beat Gary here, to see Empire Strikes Back at the RC Theaters out in where the drive-in was in Fredericksburg. They showed up and I was out there with a sleeping bag. Number one in line. Like I stayed all night and slept there and sat there with my back against the wall with the ticket counter right above my head. And I was there, number one. And they were just like, what the fuck? Gary's serious. Which is why, by the way, in high school, all my nerd friends, tons of nerd friends, man. Do you know who got called Star Wars in school?
You did.
This guy. Star Wars, what's up? And I'm like, I can't be the only Star Wars fan. Come on, knock it off, guys. Anyway.
Yeah, Yeah.
So let's say hey to everybody in the chat. Happy Saturday, by the way, guys. It's good to see you. Bill Barkley was number 1 today. Bill Barkley gets a star. He said, "Hey, Gary." Well, hey, back to you, Bill. You limey bastard. Actually, he's not limey. He's Scottish. Sorry about that. I just shit all over you accidentally. You Scottish bastard. Hey, Martin, I've been watching La Brea. I can't watch that show. I've been watching The Rookie. I watched the first season, and it's not bad. I'm not going to watch the spin-off Feds. I don't expect it to be true. Because right now, the FBI's confidence level with society is like down at about a 10 out of 100. Because they're doing all sorts of corrupt, crooked shit. Did you know that they robbed a fucking bank?
There goes another F-bomb.
Not surprising.
Oh, I already started it, John. I'm not going to worry about it today. It's Saturday.
I mean, how much domestic terrorism have they funded so they could stop it?
It's ridiculous, dude. It is ridiculous. What happened was they got permission to break open an entire wall of safety deposit boxes, okay? And took all kinds of things out of them. Property, money, gold. And then it was found out that the warrant they got was not legal, that they had lied as to the reasons why they wanted access to the judge, which makes it moot, which means that the FBI committed an actual felonious robbery of personal private property out of safety deposit boxes, an entire wall. T because you decided to be funny at the wrong moment. There's no such thing as being funny at the wrong moment. It's a misnomer. It's just not real. It doesn't exist. I want to say good morning to our Muslim uncle. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Penny is here. Happy Saturday. Kingsport Cal. Happy Saturday. First episode. I'm just not going to watch it because I don't like the FBI. That's why I won't watch those FBI shows. Because I think there's corruption in our current FBI, and it's widespread. Monkey Jubis is here, our Alf Jubis, but it's Monkey Jubis. Monkey Jubis, thank you. Come again. Scribe Light is here, my friend. How are you doing? And of course, the love of my life, Anima Confuse, is here. I hope she's having a good. She got rained on today, like heavy rain, not like a drizzle. She was like walking home from the store and a torrential downpour, not a spring zephyr, downpour. Magitech Mags is here. Good morning, Mags. Again, I hope you're feeling good today. Am I missing anybody? Did I miss anybody, Martin? Did I get everybody? Scribe Light, Monkey Jubis, Uncle. Yep, I got them all. Yay! So, is Gary looking forward to seeing Daredevil? Look, I am only going to, because I can fast forward. I'm going to fast forward through everything that doesn't involve Daredevil directly, just to see how he looks and how he's portraying, if he's changing it at all. Because Gary, I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to stay playing the same version of. Yeah, what?
You won't have to. You know why? Just when it comes out, just go to Twitter, because whatever's worth watching will be clipped by people, and you don't have to give them any views.
Good point. Well, I'm not going to give them views anyway. I don't have Disney Plus and never will until they rectify that problem with Gina Carano. Odds are they won't be able to. I doubt she'd come back now. Fucking assholes. Anyway. But I won't watch the full episode. I refuse to watch anything of She-Hulk because it's a typical woke neo-feminist crap. Not real feminist, neo-feminist. It's either about equality or it's nothing. That's my opinion. And that's actually just basic logic. It's either you're about equality or you're not. and they are not about equality. They talk equality, but then they start throwing in all this other shit with it. We get to dismiss men, call anything that's masculine toxic. Fuck you.
Well, I actually think this was said very well in the second X-Men movie. No, he means supremacy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, that was the thing. Like when they're talking in the second X-Men movie, when they're talking about, it's like, oh, my name just wasn't like, no, you mean mutant supremacy. But yeah, I very had his way. That's what they want.
Monkey, money talks. That's what I got to tell you. If somebody apologizes to her and gives her money, she'll come back.
Yeah, I mean, they're bringing Hugh Jackman back, and he swore he'd never do it again.
I'm going to tell you, man, I love Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is one of my favorite actors. Even though I didn't like his P.T. Barnum film. It was just absolute bullshit, garbage, lies. P.T. Barnum was not a good guy in any way, shape, or form. He was a money man, a huckster. And he used those people to his own ends. So I refuse to watch that fucking bullshit movie. My daughter's like, oh, but it's got great music and it's got a great, premise about, helping. And I'm like, it's a lie. I don't give a shit what it does. It's a fucking lie. Don't fucking lie to me and then expect me to go, oh, well, I liked it despite the lie. Fuck that. If I want to watch a P.T. Barnum film, I'll watch a biopic that shows what a shithead he was. He was a good showman, but he was a shithead. But we've got 12 in the house right now. That's enough for me, I guess, to start moving forward. So I think that was the final episode this week of Resident Alien. I'm sorry, baby, because she and I have been watching it together, but I needed to watch it in order to talk about it this weekend. But I will not mind watching it over again with you. I got to tell you, man, this season really blew my mind. I could not believe where they went with it. There's actually, again, emotional stuff involved with this series. It's a very emotional show as well as funny as hell. But we began this season with, that was all previous. I don't want to go into that one. It's everything since the egg. Escape from New York was the final episode of the first half of the season. Then Alien Dinner Party. Then came the Autopsy, the ghost of Bobby Smallwood, which is not a ghost. It's actually the infant alien taking the human form of the first human it saw that was a child. And it's a child that died like 100 years ago. It's freaking everybody out, or like 60 years ago. It's not 100. But either way it goes, it was really cute because all of a sudden the two kids on the show started taking care of it, befriended it and took care of it. And it was just awesome. And the men in black are all over the place, feds. You don't know who's good. You don't know who's bad. The sphere is in play again. And it causes that one stooge for the federal government. He's some sort of desk analyst or some shit, and he's out in the field doing stuff he doesn't know how to do. He gets shot, but he survives because he's wearing a vest. And then Linda Hamilton, who's been great on this show, you discover maybe she's not such a bad guy, and she does the classic Terminator. Come with me if you want to live. To this black guy that just got shot. He's like, he thinks she did it. And she's like, if I did it, I wouldn't be coming here to help you to run from those guys who just shot you. So he takes off with her, and they're trying to find out where the alien is, who the alien is, if there really is an alien in that town. And she's coming to the point finally that she doesn't believe there is. And she actually captures this kid. She's talking to him. And in the middle of talking to him, and she's just talking to him this time, she gets hard ass, and then she realizes she's scaring him. And so she's like, calms down. Linda Hamilton looks at him. She says, I just don't think there's even aliens in this town. But, you know, my dad killed himself because of what we saw at the lighthouse, because nobody would believe him. The federal government covered it up, and it hurt him, and it made him look bad, and it caused him to get depressed and kill himself. And all of a sudden, man, that child morphs back into the little alien right in front of her. And I was like, oh my God, it's trusting her for some reason. And there is something about her. There's a duplicity about her that tells you that if she is forced, she will actually help them to escape or whatever, you know. And that's eventually what it happens, because they've got the sphere, and they have the little baby. And as the season went by, we find out that alien he thought that lived in New York was a version of himself. That the child is his child. And we get to see the humanity having its impact on him as a character, emotional moments, funny as hell at the same time, of him trying to become more human. And he keeps having one opportunity after another to escape, and he keeps coming back. And it's just like, it's so funny, you know, because the young female lead in the show, I forget her name, she's Native American. And she's, I think he's kind of in love with her, you know, but he doesn't understand it. He just really is attached to her. And like at one point, he's like, well, the world is going to be destroyed, but I made a room that will protect just you and me. No, she won't let him do that. She won't let him get away with just trying to save the two of them. And so the show is just really good. I love the writing. It got a little woke in season 2. Like one episode just was really like annoying. And that was it. It's really, most of the time, if you hear moderately woke stuff, it usually gets made fun of on the show by the character saying it in a stupid way, or by, you know, Tudyk making fun of her for saying it, you know, whoever said it. But by the time we get to this final episode, and I think it was the final episode, again, we learn that there is an alien apocalypse. It was never his species to begin with. They decided not to attack because a scarier alien presence was already here doing that. So they backed off, and he said, well, what alien race? And of course, it's the Greys. And the one Grey we've met was voiced by none other than, oh my,
George Takei.
George Takei. And Takei his character is like just such an asshole. He's like mocking Tudyk's character, and just like you know, calling him stupid. And then we're gonna shit all over you. Fucking Takei saying these lines was hilarious, because the two girls are frozen in the vehicle. Time has been stopped by the aliens. And Grey comes down there to talk to him, and he says, yeah, you need to back off, man. This is ours now. Humans are ours. And now he's irritated by that because he doesn't like the Greys. And so now he's going to try to fight for humanity. And in the final episode, he sends his child away from Earth, home, although he connected with it, because his species doesn't normally connect. They send their children out into the wilderness to survive and go on with their lives. But he ends up connecting with his child, and it's really sweet. Well, because, you know, they do. I just talked about this in the car, that the only unequal pay you see in any of the industries are industries that women don't go to. That's it. Men are still clearly paid higher than women because women aren't working in those fields. But in most businesses where women do work, service oriented to industrial, they either get paid the same or more. So it's a lie. And, you know, and I said it on my my Twitter account today, and Martin, you liked it. I said, you can deny and or lie all you want, and you can do it to the point where you start believing your own bullshit. But the fact is that doesn't make it true just because you keep repeating it over and over again. And that's what they do. They repeat these things over and over again. But yeah, it got a little cringy. But that I can survive that. If you give me good writing, I say it all the time. Give me good writing, I'll watch your cringy stuff.
Well, there's a limit to it.
The limit is when it overpowers the writing. When it overpowers the writing, I can't watch it because then I'm just stomaching it. And you shouldn't be stomaching anything. You should be able to enjoy something. Gary, my nephew made fun of me and called me old because all I own are a couple of revolvers and shotguns. As a veteran, would you explain to them that that's all you need for self-home defense? Well, I can tell you right now, I probably wouldn't even bother with a shotgun. I would be happy with knives and pistols. Because the pistol I would carry would be an automatic with an extended magazine, 45 1911. It is a powerful gun, and you won't see, like, if you watch the shooting breakdowns that Donut Operator does, which I don't know if I've ever talked about Donut Operator before. I love watching his breakdowns, shooting breakdowns, and you'll see a lot of these body footage of the cop popping off several shots, making impact, and that person's still coming at him. That's because they're using a very small pistol round, and it's 7mm to 9mm, and those are tiny, and they don't have knockdown power. If you shoot somebody with a 45 caliber 1911, one shot, they're going down.
Yeah, the shock will hit them.
Because it doesn't pierce. It's not going at a high speed. It's designed specifically. It was designed specifically to knock people down or spin them in midair, because that was the problem that happened. Again, here's a history lesson for you. We've been at war with Islam, forms of Islam, not all Islam, forms of Islam where it's gone overboard since the early 1800s. I think it was 1811. Jefferson sent a group of Marines to Tripoli,
the Barbary Coast,
stop the Barbary pirates, which they believed, due to Sharia Islamic law, that they had the right to do what they were doing. And of course, the British were like, right, mate, go right ahead. Because even though we beat them in the Revolutionary War, we had not gained their respect yet. And so we sent a small detachment of Marines. They built a small army out of locals and went to Tripoli and kicked the living shit out of them. Terrified them. As well they should have, because the Marines are fucking badass. And even back then. But then, thank you, Don. 1803 to 1804, thank you. And then in the War of 1812, which got started by a stupid move on our part, trying to annex Andor, invade Canada. But it was a necessary war because it brought the British into it. And this time, we completely fucking destroyed them in combat. They were terrified of us. And, well, they should have. And it changed the way that they fought warfare after their second battle with us. And that was when King George and Britain stopped messing with us, because they absolutely were hiring pirates and all sorts of shit to fuck with us. We did the same thing, maritime madness of the pirates. A lot of it was sanctioned by their certain governments, as long as they affected the other government or other country.
Yeah, you get a letter of marque and you become a privateer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Privateer. And but We kicked the shit out of them. And of course, I love that song. In 1814, we took a little trip with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. Took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we fought the bloody British in a town in New Orleans. Fired our guns, and they kept coming. Fired once more. Oh, I forgot that next song.
And they began to run.
They began running down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico, and they ran through the briars, and they ran through the brambles, and they ran through the bushes that a rabbit wouldn't go. Ran so far that the hounds couldn't catch them. Down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. We drove them out. Scared the shit out of them. Because
the reason that New Orleans battle happened the way it did, in part, was that they were counting on it being misty, because it often was. It was clear as day when they were heading in, so they really were marching across the field in open view with no cover.
Right.
And it's just, we lost.
Well, it's a mistake. You can't fight Americans like that. You can't fight us like that. We will get behind a tree. The American Indians taught us how to fight covert warfare, or covered warfare. But I want to point out that this is like that moment where you see the kid being bullied by some guy, punches him, and the bully suddenly becomes friends with him. And that's the way it's been. We knocked the shit out of the British, and the British said, hey, you know what? You're right. We're friends. And we've been friends ever since. We have. It's why we wouldn't help France. We gave them a little help, but we would not send personnel over there to France to help them fight the British, because George Washington, Jefferson, all of them considered England our first cousin. You know, their family. Yeah, I love that song. But when it comes to shotguns, for home defense, if you're going to use a shotgun, I know it's against the law in most states, if not all. Sawed-off shotguns are best, or short-barreled shotguns, 12 gauge, not 20. 20 gauge you don't want. You want 12 gauge. 12 gauge is for good close quarter combat, and you don't have to aim. You just got to get in the general area where they're at, you know. And you're going to do damage.
Always.
Yeah. Hallway gunfights, shotguns on your side. But when it comes to somebody breaching, I would still prefer personally to have a 1911 in my hand with an extended magazine, 15 rounds. Yeah, it's heavy. I don't care. I can handle that weight. And it doesn't take 3 or 4 shots to take somebody down. It's one shot, and they're done. Center mass, done.
You can always go for a Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
It's so heavy, though. That thing is so front heavy, though. I've fired them.
Dude, .50 cal.
Yeah, I know. It's a 50 caliber round. And of course, you know, good luck twirling it like RoboCop did.
Yeah, 50 caliber AE. When you
Man,
absolutely
positively break your finger, you try to
if you can give it the momentum, your hand will get spinning on the wrist forever.
So in Resident Alien, what handgun does he use?
Oh, he doesn't use a gun. He does get shot. And it's an interesting moment because it causes the young lady, his friend, to shoot and kill the person that was shooting him. And she thought, you know, oh my God, he's a human. I killed a human. And she's devastated by that. And I think it led to a great moment between her and her adoptive father that runs the restaurant. You know, I love the way he talks. He's got that classic Canadian Indian way of speaking. And he tells her, he's like, what you need to know is that you saved somebody's life, you protected them, and that's all that matters. You need to let the rest of that go. But here's the important thing. It's always with you. You'll never forget it, but you can let it go. And I love that. It was a really good scene between father and daughter. It's a damn good show. Damn good show. It's hilarious, touching. And some things happened in there that I suspected was going to happen with the mayor being, his sleepwalking isn't sleepwalking. It's missing time. He's actually being abducted. And the Greys, they're fucking evil, and I'm hoping he destroys or scares the Greys off in this next season. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And it's, once again, watch the show. Watch this season. Really good writing. If you haven't already watched it, you should watch it. It's a great show, great series. And funny part is, again, I need to point out, I didn't want to watch it because I learned early on that they were changing everything from the comic of how he became human, took on the human form, all of that. And I didn't like it. I was like, nope, that's bullshit. You should follow what the comic said. And then I saw the show and I went, damn it, they did better than the comic. It's actually better than the comic. And that's my professional opinion, not just my personal. It is written better. It is technically better than the actual comic book. And I'm glad that, yeah, that's right. Yeah. 3 tap. That's right. 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. Always aim center mass. And what I told a buddy of mine, I said, if you're firing a weapon, one of the things, if you fire more than three shot burst, even a pistol, your third shot will probably hit them in the head because of the recoil. Every time you fire, it raises just slightly. Oh, Keith is at, like I said, at Archon. He just sent me a message that the reboot of The Crow has finished filming.
No.
I don't know why they're calling it a reboot. It's just a new adaptation of previously published material. It's not a reboot if you do that. It's not. You can't call it a reboot and actually be correct. You're wrong. It is a readaptation. And I'm going to say that to him right now.
They don't seem to like acknowledging that a lot of things are based on comics. Like, for example, I've heard of Resident Alien. Never heard that was based on a comic until just now.
And of course, it's discussing film that said it. They're just, I mean, I'm not saying that their news is not true. They just have a terrible way of writing it. Got muted. A short. I noticed what the short is being caused by. It's the fridge, my refrigerator right here.
Yeah.
Whenever the compressor kicks in on it, it causes my mic to short, and it mutes me. So I was I was afraid it was something going on with my computer, and it's not. It's just the refrigerator. But readaptation, it's not a reboot. And I'm letting Keith know.
Who's gonna be Eric Draven? Well, hell, he's going to be an Eric Draven or an.
Oh, hold on a
Eric
minute. You want me to look? I'll find out.
I thought you knew.
It stars Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs.
It's
Okay. I know Bill. The other name doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
unless it's a superhero thing, they never seem to want to ever even acknowledge that something's based on a comic book.
Oh,
I mean, Road to Perdition, they don't bring that shit up at all. Maybe in like the credits, and that's it.
share screen.
I think it's because they fear.
This is at FKA Twigs. Can you see her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So she's going to be the Crow this time?
maybe.
I have no idea. I have no idea what they're doing. No clue. I doubt I'm going to watch it. Because I got to be honest, I wasn't even a fan of the comic. So the only reason I watched the film, the original film, is because I was a big Brandon Lee fan. And of course, he had just died. And a lot of people don't know this, and I keep saying it. I was a paramedic up there in Seattle, and I got to go to his funeral. There were over 200, 300 people in attendance at the cemetery. And of course, there was a procession of people for the hearse going through town. So there's a lot more people sort of attending on the street. And then there's like over 200 people in the cemetery for the funeral. And it was something else, man. And it's tragic because this is, again, the mistake that was made there, that should have been something that never happened, because they were doing close-ups with dummy rounds. That means there's no powder in them. They look like a bullet, but they're empty. And somehow the round dislodged from the shell into the barrel. And nobody cleared the barrel, which is absolutely a must. You open up that chamber so it's open, and you look straight down the barrel to make sure there's nothing in there. It's a simple test that you do. Every gunsman knows to do that. You open it, look down the barrel, make sure nothing's in there, close it, and then you do your proper cleaning. And that dummy round got lodged in there from previous day of shooting. They loaded the blanks, and the scary, sad part of this is the loads that they put into blanks are bigger than what you have in regular guns. The reason why is because the flash from a regular gun might not be picked up by film when they're shooting at 24 frames per second. In those 24 frames, the flash may happen while the lens is closed, the shutter is closed, and then opens back up, so you never see the firing. So what they discovered is by putting a hotter load in the shell, they got a bigger flash. And of course, there's wadding, often paper or wax wadding, that packs the gunpowder in. So the actor pulled the trigger. You know who shot him. Yeah. That guy's got to live with it the rest of his life. What happened? He pulled that trigger, that the blank went off, and that wad and that bullet went into him more powerfully than a regular Magnum would fire it, because it had the extra load in it for the film. And all it did is the simple test that every gunsman knows, every weapons guy knows. You open the chamber so light will come into the barrel, and you look down that barrel to make sure there's nothing in there. And even if after that, you're still supposed to clean it. It's a shame. He was murdered by stupidity. And then Alec Baldwin, and it looks like he is going to be charged with homicide. Involuntary or not, it's homicide. And absolutely, just like any other human being on this planet or in this country tried for that, he should see prison time for this. None of that good behavior, suspended sentencing. Alec Baldwin knowingly aimed a gun at somebody and squeezed the trigger on a gun that is required. It's a double action pistol. You have to cock the hammer and squeeze the trigger for it.
I thought it was single action.
I thought that single action, but Don was explaining to me I said it wrong, so I'm saying it's the way he told me. Because you got to pull it back and then squeeze double action.
I've had him
single
wrong.
action is where you squeeze the trigger and the hammer goes back and forward. That's not how double actions work. Double action requires you to pull the hammer back before squeezing. Now, the cool thing about that one too is once you squeeze that trigger down and are holding it down, you can fan. That hammer will keep popping and rotating the chamber to the next round. You can fan shoot really quickly. But he aimed that gun at a human being, the cinematographer and the director behind her, and he pulled the hammer back and squeezed the trigger. You don't do that. You don't do that unless you're intending to hurt somebody or you're a fucking idiot. And he's had weapons training. He's had it for 35, 40 years. He's been in a lot of action films with guns. It's no excuse for what happened with him. He should be ashamed of himself, and he absolutely should see prison time for this. Single action. Now, Don, single action is where you squeeze the trigger. That's single action. when you have to pull the hammer back and then squeeze the trigger, that's 2 actions. That's double, right? So I'm not sure which one you're correcting. I'm not sure. Anyway, Robert Downey, yeah, he did too. So did Tim Allen back before he was a big comedian. He was a cocaine dealer, and he turned state's evidence and snitched, and that's how he got out of prison. And I don't blame him, man. That guy, he changed a lot of our lives because he got out of prison. He's a good guy. I made that one mistake. Although he did crack one joke in one of his early routines. He says, you know, I try to remember what he said. He said, like, if a woman wants to know how to give a blowjob, she should ask another guy or something like that, because only guys know how to do that. And I thought that was funny, because basically the joke was something about prison. Wait a minute. The Getaway was really gun-heavy film he was in. Oh, look. No, I absolutely, Kingsport Cal, absolutely know he's been trained. He has no excuse for what he did. No excuse. He's been in many films. And once you've been trained that, you don't forget. You know, it's okay. Oh, God damn it. Single action must cock the hammer.
That is right.
That's what I thought.
No, that is right. Because
Okay.
you're talking about if the user is taking the actions and not the gun.
Yeah, because the double action will use the
gun take the
trigger's doing the double action. Okay.
Yeah.
I stand corrected, Don. I thought that was what you said yesterday when you corrected me. So anyway, that's why I went there. So let's get to Andor. Has anybody watched Andor?
Yep, I watched it this morning.
My general reaction is this is a good show. It's not the Star Wars I asked for, but neither was Star Wars itself. Again, I reiterate, none of us asked for Star Wars. We got Star Wars. It was a gift given to us. And if you ask for certain things, you're not always going to get what you ask for. But it's really nice when they take the time to make something worth your time and effort. You know, filmmakers and TV show makers really need to respect our time. They want us to watch the show so they make money off of viewership and or advertising. Well, make it worth us watching. Don't blame us if your show sucks, which is their go-to thing now, to blame the audience for not appreciating their film. And that's just stupid.
Well,
you know, it's always stupid to do that.
That's typical narcissistical behavior.
Well, of course it is. So basically, this show kind of first of all, I like the trailers for it. I was like, okay, is this really coming out of Lucasfilm?
Yeah.
I was like, this doesn't look like their normal fare, and it isn't. It is not their normal fare for their, like what they did to Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett. But once again, I believe that's because this is not a George Lucas created character. This is a current Disney Star Wars creation. Andor came from Star Wars Rogue One. And so therefore, they don't have to destroy and kill him and make him look bad like they did with Boba Fett. So I watched it, and I was thoroughly engrossed with the first, 3 episodes in, right? 3 or 4? 4 episodes in. And I'm really surprised at some of the quality of storytelling, how deep they're going into it. It's being treated very seriously. There's nothing comical about it.
Nope.
No silliness in it. People die. Andor is an interesting character. And he sounds just like Martine. Every time I'm not looking at the screen and I hear him talk, I'm like, damn, that sounds like Martine.
So I've been demoted from Khan to Andor.
Yeah, now you're on Andor, buddy. I like seeing this is really the Empire taking form at this point. We're getting to see that, and we're getting characters. We're meeting characters on both sides of the line, and I'm curious where they're going to go with that. I like the fact that we meet the woman who raised him from his teens because she rescued him. They're protecting him. He's part of the rebellion. I like Skarsgård in it, man. He is a good actor, man. Good actor. And he's playing, I don't know who he is, but he's clearly with the rebellion. He's aware of what's going on. And I believe that he's going to end up being important to the mission eventually. When they end the series, I don't know if this is going to be a limited series or what, but when it ends, it will end with probably him giving the order for Andor to lead this mission to steal the plans for the Death Star. But and he clearly, this is a human character, very human. And they have a moment where they're stealing plans for something. You don't know what. And he tells them to leave them because their lives are more important. You remember that in that scene where the Imperial, I don't know what those guys are. They're not real Imperial, but they work for the Empire.
Corporate police.
Yeah, corporate police. They wear different uniform.
Yeah, because the Empire let the corporations run some of the outlying planets while they.
But that's going to change. That's going to change eventually. I don't know, man. I'm enjoying the writing. I like the drama, and we're just 4 episodes in. I think it's an 8-episode season, right? So we're halfway through. I know Forrest Whitaker's character is supposed to come back. We're supposed to see him again.
Saw Gerrera.
Yeah. So I'm curious what they're doing here because it's fun in a very serious way. Like I said, this is a more dramatic Star Wars film. And the drama is not in how they act it, but the situations are dire, serious situations. And we're getting to see how heavy-handed the Empire was. And I'm hoping that we see the Emperor at some point. I don't care if we see Darth Vader. Even though I can't imagine him not being around.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't be using Vader.
I don't think this is a show that Vader would work in.
No.
But the Emperor would. Palpatine, as a character, he would work in this kind of show.
Even Tarkin.
By the way it's supposed to be, it's every 3 episodes they're doing a time skip. So basically, 3, 6, 9. There's 12 episodes total, from what I understand.
12. Okay, so not 8.
See?
Okay.
Monkey Gibbous agrees with me.
Well, I'm nervous about Tarkin, but I think he's important because he was one of the few people you saw stand up to Vader.
Yeah. I don't know, this series, when I first started watching it, I wasn't sure how it was going to go or how I was going to feel about it because it was all the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, still, I'm not going to officially watch it on Disney because fuck Disney. But I do like the show. I think it's well written. It gives me hopes that Mandalore won't suck. I know that Favreau is on the verge of quitting. He's so frustrated. And Kennedy is throwing weight around that I can't believe she has. And the only reason why she has that weight is Bob Chapek loves her. He really does. And don't know why. Makes no sense whatsoever.
I think it's her back's against the wall and she's just acting like she's top shit before the end.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm nervous because Chapek doesn't seem to want to fire her. And once again, I want to point out, she's still in the red with Star Wars. She has not turned a profit for Disney yet. Because every time they have a chance to create something to make money off of, she's increased the budget to the point there's no way to turn a profit from it. Or nobody wants to watch it once it's done. So, how do you turn a profit when you're doing that? Toys aren't selling. Merchandise is so dead. What used to be 4 columns at Walmart is now 1 column. And it's almost always half empty. Nobody wants Star Wars toys.
Yeah, the only Star Wars toys that are
Legacy.
moving are
Legacy.
Black Edition.
Black Edition, which is Legacy. Anything that's Legacy will sell. But I wanted to buy, I almost bought the Boba Fett Slave One until I saw what was written on it.
Yeah, I
Fire
have
spray?
this- No,
Boba Fett
it's
Starship.
Starship.
Oh,
And I went,
That-
nope, you're not getting my money on that.
That happened to
pissed
me.
off.
I
Yep,
had
not
the
gonna do
box
it.
in my hand, and nah, I couldn't.
I will look for on eBay. I'll look for old kits. What is it, Ertl or AMT that built them?
yeah.
I like Star Wars. Fuck, man, look. Here you go.
Fortunately, I have my Legacy.
Look at my toys. These are some
Slave
of my
one.
toys. I have Mando. I have Boba on my desk all the time. And with them, I have transparent helmet Darth Vader, battle damage Return of the Jedi. You got the cool lightsaber.
Oh, you didn't get the 3 3/4 Gina Carano?
Well, as you know, I never. No, they're sold out. I also got that ultra realistic posable Darth Vader, which I unboxed from the
Yeah, man. I
Amazon
love
box,
that.
but I couldn't open the main box. I'm like, I can't do it,
No.
and it's in storage somewhere. I don't know where it's at.
You got to get it back, man.
No, they got my Indiana Jones. That's a very expensive collector's item. My Indiana Jones 12-inch action figure, ultra realistic face. Man, I got that's somewhere. I don't know where it is. With people that don't give 2 shits about it. My Deanna's mom, she doesn't care about my stuff. She doesn't care about my material. So I'm fretting over it, but I'm also trying to be zen, because in Taoism, it was zen, is that when you own something, it owns you, and you have to let go of things. Otherwise, you end up like Lot's wife, turning to a pillar of salt, because those are the connections to me. Because Lot's life fretted over their things and turned and was killed by the blast.
I would like to address something. 2 things.
Undress something, you said? You want to undress something?
Address.
Oh, address.
Address. I'm sorry.
Yeah, your accent confuses me sometimes.
I would like a dress, if that's any consolation.
Okay. You're the human. So, Bill, it's Slave One. It's like when a bully don't use your name, but makes a derogative term for you. Your name doesn't change. Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Disney is the bully changing the name of the ship.
Changing the name of Slave One is as despicable an act as making Greedo shoot at Han.
Yes. And this one.
For real world example, it's like they
Jeebus,
changed the names of all these sports teams.
Mhm. Jeebus,
I agree with some of them that it's okay to change them.
okay.
But,
Let me finish this
Oh yeah.
before we got into that, because that I think is going to be a big one. Oh, this Jeebus, the name was never spoken, yes, but the name of the executor, leadership, was never spoken too, and you still know that is the executor. So the fact that they use the name in the movie or not, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, because it was the official name. Once, like it. Also, I don't think Darth Vader ever called his or Star Destroyer the Avenger, but it's still the name of the.
No, the executor.
I thought it was the Avenger.
No,
No.
it's Executor.
Was it the Executor? Okay.
You know why we have a lot of these names? Because there was a West End Games, Star Wars tabletop RPG. We're asking like, what? Well, okay, we need to fill out what these things are because they have sheets. What are they? Talk with George Lucas. And when Timothy Zahn was writing his sequel books, they just gave him the RPG because it was already authorized. So everything was based upon that.
Yep.
All those names came about because of that.
That's why I consider my character from that game canon. The Star Wars universe.
Well, as I recall, the name Slave One and the Executor were given to Kenner before the toys came out, and the toys came out before the movie came out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, you know, there was another one too that had a name that you never see in the film. And it just popped into my head and then it went out just quickly. But I'm going to respond to something else. Somebody said something about Buddhism. I think that was Kingsport Cow. Yeah, Kingsport Cow. Buddhism, I'm not too groovy on because of there's a famous painting called The Wine Tasters, which really is the reason why I started studying Taoism when I was young. I started when I was 16. I bought a book called the Tao of Pooh, and then I bought the Tay of Piglet, and that was my introduction into that world. And I looked at Buddhism, and the problem is, like with the Wayne Tasters, it shows the three different expressions of the three main religions: Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. And when you see Confucius, his face is like that sour expression, and it's telling you something about that religion, how they practiced it. And then the Buddhist is got a bitter expression, but then you see Lao Tse, the founder of Taoism, and he's got a look of like, that's interesting. They're all tasting the same thing, the same vat of vinegar, wine, and having different reactions to it. And Taoism is all about the experience, not to look at it as positive or negative, whereas both those religions focus on that, the suffering. Whereas Taoism says every experience is its own, accept that experience and gain something from it, learn something from it. And that's why I veered off from any of the others and went for Taoism or Taoism, however you want to do it. You got to go. All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye, Joes.
I'll see you later, Joe. I'll see him on Monday. I don't know if we're doing a show Monday with Brian, that Somebody's Rock fan.
I thought he's moving.
I don't know. I don't know. I look for his messages to let me know things. I don't. My brain is like so focused and retains information that it finds necessary. Other stuff just goes in and right back out. I don't keep it because I don't see it as beneficial for me to retain that info. It's really weird the way my brain works like that. It really does that.
One of the things that is frustrating with all these Star Wars things is that there's in essence no future because they always want to go with the Empire. So we're never going to go past that sequel trilogy and actually try to build something new that isn't complete shit. It's basically everything's will be at most like post Empire, like a couple of years, like where the Mandalorian is, where the Empire is on its way out. That's what we're stuck with now. It'll be Rise of the Empire or the Empire's Fall, and we're never going to be going beyond any of that shit because no one liked the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I can see that. Unless they come out and declare it non-canon. I don't see them doing that.
Nope.
They made how much money? I mean, I know they could have actually made a lot more, but still, it's like 2.5 billion, some ridiculous amount that for the first one. I mean, even the terrible one, was it Last Jedi, is like 1.5 total. Yeah, they're not gonna drop that.
So here is the book that changed my life.
Oh, bother.
And I really did enjoy Taya Piglet, but Tao of Pooh introduced me to Taoism, or Taoism, however you want to pronounce it. And it worked very well with my Catholicism. I did not follow the religious aspects of Taoism. I followed the philosophical teachings of Taoism. And it helped me deal with things better. It's how, I don't get really stressed out quickly. And when I get stressed out or anxious, nobody can see it on my face. I don't show it on my face. It's internalized. But it's everything I learned from Taoism started with the Tao of Pooh, and I highly recommend it. If you're curious about Taoism, that's the book to get you started, because it does. And it takes the teachings of Milne in his books and shows you how Pooh was actually a Taoist in the books, because there's nothing in the Tao of Pooh that's not from the books by Milne. It's a really good book. I highly recommend it. That book, The Flower of Chivalry, and The Book of Five Rings were the three books that helped form me. When I was in my 20s, I read The Art of War, and it helped me as a soldier and helped me modify even more how I react with people, including dealing with conflict. But a good way to interpret those teachings. Yes, yeah. Go look at the painting. It's an old painting, ancient painting. It's Japanese, and it's called The Wine Tasters. And there have been remakes of them. The original one is the one I know best, but it shows the different expressions, the one of sour, the one of bitter, and the one of enlightenment. And that's, once again, the one that did the enlightenment, because that painting was significantly important to me for some reason. I don't know why, as a kid, to go in that direction, because I wanted to be more enlightened than to deal with the suffering, to focus on the suffering, and to focus on any of the misery. Seemed to be futile, whereas just taking each experiences and using it as a positive way to move forward. Molnar, yeah.
Throw hammer at things till that want to kill you till they're dead.
If you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
Yeah, there you go.
That's just something a nail would say.
But that was it. We've finished Star Wars. We talked about Resident Alien. I think it's one of the best shows going. Sci-Fi is not the Sci-Fi Channel of the past, but it doesn't mean they don't still have good programming. And that is one of their good shows, in my opinion.
The Expanse was another one.
It is Art of War movie doesn't teach anything of the philosophy of war.
I'm sorry, Wesley Snipes is not your philosophy teacher.
No, that's funny. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Happy Saturday. God, it was nice hanging out with you guys. I think that I'm going to be happy when Keith is back, because I miss him when he's not here. So
I'm a poor replacement for Keith.
What's this?
No, you do just fine. You let Gary dig himself into a hole and do nothing to help him out of it. So
I wasn't yawning at the stupid shit you said, Shanatsky. It was just a coincidence.
Oh, don't worry. I yawn at you all the time. I just do it off.
Oh,
mic.
fuck you too.
Fuck you, Gary.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, Shinatsky. John, it's always good to see you. Martin, you have become a permanent resident in my head. So I am happiest when you're around. I want to thank Bill Barkley, who was the first one in the chat. Second in chat was Anima Confusa, love of my life. Kingsport Cow was third. Magitech Mags, Penny, Scribe Light, Monkey Jeebus, thank you, come again. Our Muslim uncle, Pat S., our producer. Don Ecker, our friend and our absolutely co-host of UFO Wednesday. Brett Cohen, mate. It's good to see you. Good eye. Dr. Dragon. Joe's Atmosphere. Black Az. War Monkey. So it's a monkey. It's a house of monkeys today. There we go. Alex Moore. And that's it. All right. I want to thank all you guys for being here. Have a happy Saturday. And trying to think. You know what? I need to come up with my own Stan Lee type exit outline, you know.
Gary.
I thought you had one.
Excelsior. Excelsior. I love how he said it.
Used to have Get Off My Lawn.
Gary Keller, you're my hero.
I just don't think it works anymore. I don't know. But I'm trying to see. Do we have an outro for Saturday morning? I thought we did.
We do.
Yeah, I do. There it is. I found it. Yeah. By the way, there is a channel that I watch, Rick Beato.
Look at this.
Backdoor Celsius. Now you made me do it. You made me do it. You son of a bitch.
I thought we were going to go the whole show with.
Like, wouldn't you know that back door would trigger a trap door?
There you go. Every time somebody says the secret word, I'm going to play that fucking video. But Rick Beato has one of the best channels, and there are millions of people that watch his videos. He is really a professor of music. He has been the producer on many a great classic song, and he is a big advocate for old music being better than today's music, and he explains why. He breaks it down for you, why it's not good.
Like if he knows.
But he does an absolutely wonderful, he'll pick a song, and he goes, what makes this song great? And then he'll break down note by note.
Yes.
How it works. He'll break down, he gives you, I love how he does this. He has the tracks so he can remove all the other music except for this here, and shows you what's really going on there in the background, what you're not hearing. And Tears for Fears song, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, is the new video over there. And it really is. It's a lesson in how to play it if you're a musician, but it's also a lesson in what makes a great song great. And he's like, he'll talk about it, like this song has multiple hooks in it. And when you get multiple hooks, like Thomas Dolby's She Blinded Me with Science, multiple hooks in one song. And Everybody Wants to Rule the World has multiple hooks in it.
Did you see his analysis of Xanadu?
Yes. Yes, I did. He loves Electrolyte Orchestra to begin with. But even though Electrolyte Orchestra composed that song and plays it, Olivia sings it. And that just really made it even better. I love that song. He explains the escalation factor in a song, the build up to something, but you have to build up to something that's worth it. And that's one of those songs that he has said is not, the build up is beautiful, and then the payoff, the hook. Great. Electrolyte Orchestra, one of the greatest rock bands of the last 50 years, period.
Can you send me a link to that channel?
I them a rock band.
It's rock. It's 4/4 beat. If it's 4/4 beat straight rock, it's a rock band. Beatles, rock band. Stones, rock band. The Who, rock band. There are different kinds of rock, but it's rock. There's prog rock. There's classic rock. There's, you just got everything. And ELO is a rock band, but there's a tad bit of prog to them with the fact that they do things differently, like using electric violins. The other band that did that was Kansas. another I consider a prog rock band. And if you've never listened, like Dust in the Wind, Carry On My Wayward Son, oh my God, classic rock songs, man. But anyway, the breakdown he does of Tears for Fear, pop rock. Tears for Fear is new wave pop rock, is what it is. And I've always liked it because it was original in the way they approach things. Back in the 80s, you didn't see studios pushing to release songs that have only 3 chords in it. They would experiment. They dabbled with sound. Thomas Dolby is not, he said it in an interview, I'm not really very much of a musician. I'm a tinkerer. And I'm like, yeah, man. And when you go to listen to what he did with She Blinded Me with Science, you understand. Multiple hooks in that song. New wave pop rock is what that is.
I've always loved Europa and the Pirate Twins.
I know Europe.
Europa and the Pirate Twins.
Oh,
It's a Thomas Dolby song.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that one. If you had let in with his song, I would have understood it better. But sorry, but I didn't recognize one. I'm going to go check it out, though, after the show. So it's called Europa and
the Pirate Twins.
Pirate Twins. I'm going to look that up.
John, the link to Rick Beato's channel is in the private chat.
All right, thank you.
All right, I've got that in.
Right, Day. Welcome.
Again, remember, Wednesday this week, we're going to have Terry on the show. I'm sorry. And once again, this is also because of Don Ecker. Don Ecker is the one who hooked us up. But we're going to have Tracy Torme from Star Trek, Sliders. What was that other one? Odyssey 5. Carnival, if you've never seen it, it's a good show. And Outer Limits, as well as the films I Am Legend, Fire in the Sky, and Intruders. He's done a lot more than those, but those are some of my favorites, and that's why I added them to the image. But he's going to be on Wednesday.
Gary? Try to see if you can find out any more about the Sliders reboot they was supposedly working on.
I'll ask him.
One of the producers says it's definitely going ahead.
Everything we've heard was that it's going ahead too. So yeah. I just don't know. It's supposed to be the original cast. So, but there is a hint or use of the word reboot, and that one, because it's an original show, can be rebooted. Whereas when you're doing The Crow, it's adapting the source material. So it's not a reboot. And I think it's stupid that Discussing Film used the word reboot. It's not a fucking reboot if it's an adaptation. It's just a new adaptation. Fuck off, Discussing Film. You guys are fucking idiots. Anyway, everybody have a wonderful Saturday.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.